Hello, Professor, and everyone. The article that I chose for my current events presentation is about how housing prices have increased over the past few decades and how millennials are finding it increasingly hard to buy a home. The article is called, "Why Can't Colorado Millennials Afford to Buy a House?" Hint, it's not all that avocado toast. Based on what I have seen, many of us are members of the millennial generation. I am sure that many of us have a goal of wanting to purchase a house for ourselves, instead of merely renting a house or apartment. But according to recent studies and trends, housing prices have actually increased by 457%, while average wages have not nearly increased as much. Our generation is certainly more educated than previous generations, but then there is college tuition costs, along with student debt, healthcare costs, the 2008 recession, and also the financial impact of COVID-19. Researchers have found that all those factors and more are major contributing reasons as to why millennials are reaching life milestones later in life, such as marriage, owning a house, or starting a family. In 1982, 41% of households were owned by someone younger than age 35. In 2016, that number dropped to 35% of households being owned by someone younger than age 35. Another major factor contributing to this drop is the housing market, which has exploded and is now outpacing wages and inflation. The price of houses has been increasing over the past decades. In 2020, there was a housing boom where interest rates for houses were lower and those who had money saved up, including the millennials who saved up their stimulus checks, bought them right up. But combined with all the people working from home, this led to housing shortages and lumber scarcity, with all of this leading to incredibly high housing prices. Remember during the pandemic where everyone received at least 2 stimulus checks to help them stay afloat during the pandemic? A study conducted by Zillow has shown that many millennials have put that money into their accounts and are saving it up instead of spending that money on things like vacations or other costs. In other words, that money is less likely to go back into the economy. With job losses and pay cuts, more and more people have less money saved up to fall back on. A study conducted by Pew Research found that the median net worth of households owned by people our age was $20,700 in 1983. In comparison, the median net worth of households owned by millennials in 2016 was $12,500. Many of us want to be homeowners and own our own place. Society sees it as a sign of adulthood, a sign of freedom for yourself, or a sign of safety, comfort, and stability. But with this housing crisis, rising costs for everything, and other debts, a lot of millennials are moving back home with their families, myself included. Many millennials are feeling that pressure and feeling that owning a house is an unattainable goal. Part of this could also be due to changes in demographics. Previously, many people who were able to afford their own houses were white. The millennial generation is more racially and ethnically diverse than ever before, but the system has always made it harder for non-white peoples to own homes, along with a lack of financial literacy and a larger wealth gap in this country. Healthcare costs are another reason why millennials are having a tough time saving up for down payments for houses. In this country, good healthcare is expensive, and I am even paying hundreds of dollars for my healthcare. My mom has always insisted that I need the best health insurance for when I get into an accident or have an unforeseen medical condition. But I have talked to my coworkers before, and they have all said that unless I have something like chronic medical conditions or anything of the like, I do not need such expensive healthcare. A lot of us have taken to getting healthcare through our companies and employers, and while healthcare is cheaper through an employer, it is still a hefty cost. Hospital bills also tend to be high because hospitals are legally allowed to set their own prices for medical care. The same also applies to medicine, with insulin costing $85 on average in the US and $7 average in Canada. Even ambulance rides can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. You could visit a doctor and they'll prescribe you ibuprofen, and the visit could cost you hundreds of dollars out of pocket. That is why many people are turning to other countries for medicine and even medical care. To close my current events presentation, this week I offer you guys these 3 discussion questions. What factors do you guys personally take into consideration when looking to buy a house? What do you think the government should do in order to ease this housing crisis and help make housing more affordable for millennials and future generations? What do you think will happen to the housing industry following the COVID-19 pandemic? And finally, do you guys think that the stimulus checks have helped the economy recover after COVID-19? Or do you think that the stimulus checks might have had an unintended harmful effect on the economy? Thank you guys for your time, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.